sure I brought my wellies.
What's a welly? Wow, thanks for being here. You want to go on an adventure with me through the UK? Let's go. Hello from Scotland. I made it to Edinburgh. I honestly had a really bad morning, but most of it was my fault. Once I realized that, I kind of got over it. I kind of lost my head this morning, but it's been a long day already. I've been up since 4:30, trying to pack in the dark at a hostel, being as quiet as possible. Then basically had to completely unpack at the airport, got searched, and ended up having to check my bag anyways. I probably spent an hour and 40 minutes packing all of my stuff to make sure that I could get it all in without having to check it, because people lose their crap all the time now. I didn't want that to happen to me. Plan failed. Still had to check a bag. So I kind of lost it. Just like so much wasted time, and it didn't even matter. Anyways, I'm meeting up with my friends John and Sammy, who I hung out with in London last year, and now they live in Scotland. So that's what brings me to Edinburgh. Never been here before, very excited. I know this is silly, but this is something we just don't have in Florida. Is like thick, lush green grass. It feels so nice. About to do my yoga in the back garden. It's so cute. So Edinburgh is home to the Fringe Festival, which apparently is 4,000 theater shows in Edinburgh over like a month. And there's shows all day, every day throughout the city. It's really cool, really crazy, really fun. One of the fun parts is that there's like these tiny venues that are in like a sea container, or like this tiny tent that they built, and that's a venue, so that they can host so many theater shows. It's super cool. Some are in a dungeon, some are in a bar, many are in a bar. Some are in big fancy buildings, some are literally in a small tent. It's so unique. This is a venue. There's people in there, inside of the cow. Moo. I did a lot of Harry Potter stuff while I was in England. I did last year too. So it seems perfect to talk about the fact that J.K. Rowling wrote a lot of her Harry Potter books here in Edinburgh, and some of the inspiration for the names of the characters came from this graveyard that we went to. Tom Riddle and McGonagall, Moody too, and a couple others that I didn't get video of. Scotland has been so fun, so beautiful. Really, we ended up with fantastic weather. Rained a little bit, but nothing crazy. The festival, absolutely worth coming to. If you're into theater, even if you're not, such a cool experience. And this city is old. Everywhere you look. I'm heading off to York today. It's like a 2.5 hour train ride. It's supposed to be one of the oldest cities. A lot of preserved history. I've arrived in York. I've got a little bit of time today, more time tomorrow. I'm gonna start by getting dinner and then just finding the city walls. Eventually it'll lead me to the brambles. The shambles, not the brambles. Let's go. Okay, Okay, this is actually super modern and not old, but check out this rooftop garden. Oh, it's so cute. This is the shambles. See how close together these buildings are up top. So the point of these jetting out the way that they do is to reserve the space in the road for the horses and carriages and stuff, not making the road smaller, but allowing for more space in the apartments above the road. But, fun fact, I found out the Great Fire of 1666 in London, after that big fire, it was mostly caused and created like to be so big because these buildings would be way too close together and set the next one on fire. So they didn't allow that type of building after that big fire in downtown London. And you don't see it super common anywhere else, but there's bombing and there's plenty of other reasons that that infrastructure has since disappeared. But it's cool to see that original structures here in York. Good morning. Well, you can tell I just woke up. It's about 5:30 a.m. If you come to see the shambles, I highly recommend coming early. It is packed during the day, but as you can see, this early in the morning, there's no one. The city is so different when it's this quiet. I highly recommend it. Ice cream and a free garden. It's a good day. It's one of the coolest trees I've ever seen. It's called a monkey puzzle tree. Fun fact, these little passageways that we usually call alleys, they call them snickleways. Kinda cute. This little area right here, I just saw on a map, is called York Beach. So sad. York was such a fun trip, a beautiful city. It's so old, there's so much history here. I'd highly recommend visiting. Now I'm off to my next location. Today's trip took me all the way from York to Bath, and I'm just arriving in Bath about 4.5-ish hours after I left York this morning. So this tree behind me was planted in 1793. It's old and it's huge, and it's planted here as a little sapling in this cute little abbey. So it's like this little area with shops. But it was also the home of public executions a long, long time ago. eerie, but I love a good old tree. So here we are, the Roman bath. A huge part of why it's named what it's named. Right next to this massive abbey. You can barely read this, but it says these hot springs were used by the Romans as early as the 1st century. So I'm also a big Wes Anderson film person, and Erica and myself, our like friendship movie is Fantastic Mr. Fox. There's a scene in Fantastic Mr. Fox. Yes, it's like a claymation movie, but they feature the little theater. I will show it here. And here it is in Bath. How cute and quaint. It's so cute. I wish I had time for a movie. I would absolutely go to one. Maybe later this week. This is only 15 minutes or so outside of Bristol. Are you ready for this? What? Okay, so this behind me is called a Royal Crescent. They're all over here in Bath. I've never seen anything like this before. From what I understand, they are literally just a set of townhomes, and they built them like this all over the place back in the 18th century or so. It's pretty mind-blowing. And a bunch of them have these big parks in front of them. There's another one called the Circus that's like just a nice circle of park with these like crescents around it. This is insane. I can't even explain to you how massive this is. Walkers. A lot of what's still standing here in Bath is more in like the 1700s, 18th century. There is a little bit of the Roman influence still left, as you saw with the Roman baths in 71 to 100 AD, but this was actually a huge target in World War II by Germany, so they lost a lot of their historical buildings. And that, of course, was intentional. I don't think this is like a huge political hub by any means, but part of war is going after cultural sites, and Bath was definitely one of them. Still is. This view better be worth it. Alright, headed up this steep hill to get a good view of the city from up top. The park I was going to go to closed at 3. It's after 5. By the way, any of these small English cities, everything closes at 5. Not even at 5, before 5. Like 4:40. Everything's closed. You can go get a drink and dinner still, but no shopping. Now I'm just using these videos as an excuse for a break. This is a workout. Okay, forgive my panting, but just got my first glimpse of the view. Totally worth it. Spotted the end, everyone. And there's a beautiful garden up here. Yay. Also, the park isn't closed. I just walked into it. Wonderful news. We have arrived. That's a wrap on my one-day trip to Bath. I have one more day trip left that's only about an hour from Bristol, and then I'm spending the rest of my time with my friends in Bristol. One of my last day trips while I'm over in the UK. I've just made it to... Can you guess? Okay, I'll give you a hint. It's kind of like my whole thing. Like, people buy me gifts with this thing, and it's like a big part of my work and like my identity and stuff. Can you guess? It's Wales! Okay, but it's not spelled like that. They spell it different. That's how they spell it. Okay, so I just found out, and this is why we travel, right? To learn, and I've been learning so much. They speak Welsh here. They speak Welsh here. Welsh. Why does it sound so strange? Anyways, they speak English too, but there's all these signs with a different language, and I, for some reason, just didn't put together, considering it's part of the UK, that they would have a whole different language, but they do. Very cool. I'm going to the Cardiff Castle today and a handful of other things. Just a short day trip, so let's go. Ride, baby! So there are all these different arcades, which I didn't know what that meant, but there are these little inlets like between all of the big shopping spots, and there's all these little stores inside down these little hallways. It's super cute. And then if I turn around, oh, you know, just like some giant old walls right there. We're headed that way now. Not what I expected for some reason. Let's go check it out. Just to give you an example of what Welsh looks like, quite different. Very old-timey, for sure. We're about to go into Cardiff Castle. But before we do that, I've been kind of looking for a spot to just chill and write a little bit. I went and bought a journal and too many pens because they had so many cool pens there. I was chatting with my friend Spicy, who I'm staying with in Bristol, about like progress and feeling worth anything or whatever. And then also listening to a podcast about like manifesting your desired future, basically. And I don't have a journal on me today, which is just so stupid. I always have a journal on me. So I literally went and bought one because it's very important. And travel can do this, but also just like being home a lot can kind of like seep in, like questioning what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what's fulfilling, what's not, you know, just like who I want to be and where I want to go. So I'm gonna sit down once I get in the castle and write about it with my cool new pens. A relatively short trip for me. As I'm coming to the end of my 3.5 weeks, I'm pretty exhausted actually, and I have frisbee in the future for the next couple days, including tonight, so kind of want to save my energy, probably pop back on a train. But the castle was cool, and there are so many pretty gardens here and a surprising amount of green space like in the middle of the city. I just love that, and I wish it was a thing everywhere. I'm headed back to Bristol to hang out with my friend Spicy. Him and his family have been gracious enough to host me for my last couple days in the UK. I notice I film a lot less when I'm hanging out with friends as opposed to just by myself. You know, just living in the moment. That's really not a bad thing. I only have so much to share because I was just having a blast. Frisbees. Bristol. There's usually sheep here, but none today. Oh! If you guys want to know what I'm gonna look like when I'm 80 years old, I can only dream that this is what it'll be like.
But now we're on a cute video, going down a country road, and I'm ruining the video by chatting over the top, so you're gonna have to put some silly music.
You're definitely gonna make it better. Look how pretty this is! No, not this part.
Okay.
Yeah, watch out. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to mute that though.
Can I swear?
You just did.
Oh,
Oh, can I swear?
Totally. Wow.
I thought that was more rain. That was a track for it. It's a big drop.
there's water that cut you.
What?
Okay.
Is that a video?
Yeah. You can't swear in the video. Guess this audio is gonna have to go too. This is cool, though. This is cave cheese. Moldy cave cheese. Sounds lovely. I'd eat it. Wookie Hole also has all these little like theme parky little kids attractions, but you know, we're kids too. Whoa. Can you limbo under him for me?
Got a video?
Oh my gosh. I think I probably don't even have to.
No.
I can do that on my tippy toes.
Oh, he's got a web on his butt.
That's his butt.
Right in the middle of his butt.
That's nice. Oh, yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
A wizard. I keep freaking myself out a little bit because I keep showing up on my right. Oh, but I can still see you even though I shouldn't. That's a mirror. Is that really you? Yeah, it is. Actually hard to tell. Cave cheese!
It tastes like cheese. It tastes like cheese.
Yours too?
Everything tastes like cheese.
That's what happens in cheddar. This is where cheddar was invented. I will look up some history because my tour guide didn't know any, so I'm gonna have to find out when cheddar was invented here. But we got some ice cream anyways, and I did buy some cheese. You guys, I figured out what wellies are. Those are wellies. Well, not the brand, but like, that's a welly. Oh my god.
That's a chat.
Well, this is the end of my 3.5-week journey. The last couple days I haven't narrated at all. I'm getting on a plane today. I'm heading to Orlando and then I'm heading home. I learned a lot. I had some really great connections with people and just saw so much and got to rejuvenate a little bit. Lots of journaling, lots of reading, and just really thankful to have the opportunity to have trips like this and plan them exactly how I want to. Thank you for following along and joining my journey. Hope you learned some stuff too and saw some cool things that you'd love to see. Hopefully we'll do this again next year. But in the meantime, stay tuned for the next vlog. Thanks for coming.